Next, we'll look at division. Division is repeated subtraction. So if you remember, subtraction was not commutative or associative, so we had to be very careful about order. The same is going to be true for division. We'll have to be careful about order. We do not have commutative or associative properties. We'll look at some division properties of 1. Our first one is that anything divided by itself equals 1. So we can have vertical notation. 8 divided by 8 is equal to 1. We could write it horizontally. 8 divided by 8 is going to be 1. We could also use a variable. Remember, a variable is a letter used to hold the place for a number. As long as they're the same, anything divided by itself equals 1. Equals 1. Another division property with 1 is anything divided by 1 gives you back the original. So if we have 3 divided by 1, gives us back 3, or we could have it horizontally. 3 divided by 1 is 3. We could also have a variable. X divided by 1 is still going to be x. It doesn't matter what the x is. It will give you back the original. We'll also look at division properties of 0. 0 divided by anything is going to give you 0. So if we have vertical notation, 0 divided by 3 will give us 0. Or horizontal notation, 0 divided by 3 is 0. Or if we have a variable, 0 divided by x is going to be 0. So 0 divided by anything is 0. We're not allowed to have it the other way around, though. We are not allowed to divide by 0. So 3 divided by 0, this is undefined. If you're going in horizontal notation, if the 0 is after, it's undefined, you can't have it. Or if you have x divided by 0, you can't have it. It's undefined. So you're never allowed to divide by 0. And this theme will go with you all the way through mathematics. It doesn't matter if you're in calculus, you are not allowed to divide by 0. That will make your problem undefined. Just a little memory trick. If you're in vertical form, if the 0 is under, then you're going to have undefined. That might help you to remember. Some keywords for division. Of course, the word divide. Quotient is the one missed the most often. Quotient is the answer to a division problem. Divided by, and some expressions. Divided equally among, shared equally among, or anything that means broken into equal pieces will be a division problem. Let's go back to quotient for just a minute. I tend to use that term a lot. Quotient is the answer. Next, we'll have an application problem. Find the average of the following quiz scores: 92, 86, and 74. If you remember, an average is kind of like the middle. Not exactly the middle necessarily, but kind of like the middle. And we add up all the scores and then divide by the number of scores that we have. So if we want to find the average, we're going to add up 92, 86, and 74. So there's 10 plus 2 is 12, and I'll carry. There's 10 and 15 is 25. And so we have 252. We're going to divide by 3 because we had 3 scores. So we go into a long division grid. And this is a good place to remember that. We're going to divide by 3. 3 won't go into 2, so we have to go into the next digit. 3 into 25. It will go 8 times. Make sure you write the 8 right over the last digit you were going into. So divide, multiply back. 8 times 3 is 24. Subtract and bring down. Then you start the process over. 3 into 12 will go 4 times. Multiply back. 4 times 3 is 12. And subtract, and this one does not have a remainder. So 84 is our average. Let's see if that's reasonable. Is that kind of in the middle of those numbers? It is. If we had made a math error and we had 94 for the answer, if you looked at that, you would say, no, that's not reasonable. 94 is higher than the biggest one, so it can't be the average. It can't be kind of in the middle. Or if we had a 64, no, that's lower than the smallest one. Can't be a 64. I want to take a minute and go through this long division. Remember some terminology and remember how to check a division. First of all, the answer to a long division is a quotient. And the number you divide by, I tend to use this term a lot, is the divisor. If you were in vertical form, the 1 would be the divisor. Whatever you divide by is the divisor. To do a check on a long division, you multiply the answer or the quotient back times the divisor. You should get back the dividend, which is the piece you're dividing into. So for our check, we're going to do 84 times 3. 3 times 4 is 12, carry. 3 times 8 is 24, plus 1 is 25. We did get back to the dividend. Let's change the problem up just a little bit, and we'll change it to 250 that we're dividing into, and see what happens when it doesn't go evenly. So we start out with divide, 3 into 2. It won't go, so we have to divide 3 into 25. We'll go 8 times. We're careful how we line it up. We multiply back. 8 times 3 is 24. Subtract, bring down. 3 into 10, we'll go 3 times. Multiply back. 3 times 3 is 9. Subtract. Now we've divided all the way to the end. So this one is a remainder. For right now, we'll just put R and the number. Later, we'll deal with remainder 2 other ways. One is a fraction and one is a decimal. But for now, just put R. If we want to check one with a remainder, we take this whole number part of our quotient. So we're going to take 83 times our divisor. 3 times 3 is 9, and 3 times 8 is 24. And then we have to add back the remainder. And that will give us 250, which is our dividend. Let's look at one more long division problem. So this time we're going to divide by a 2-digit number. So we're going to do 12. It won't go into 2, so we'll have to do 12 into 25. And I think most of us would know 2 12s are 24. So 12 into 25 will go 2 times. Make sure you write it right over the last digit you're going into. So we divide, then we multiply back. 2 times 12 is 24. Subtract and bring down 1 digit. Right. Your next step is divide, but 12 won't go into 11. You have to put an answer, so you have to put the 0 that it wouldn't go. Multiply back. 0 times 12 is 0. Subtract and bring down. Then you're ready to divide again. Now, it almost went another time back here because we had 11. So I'm going to guess about a 9. Let me check it on the side. So if I do 12 times 9, 108. Yes, that's going to work. So 12 into 116 will go 9 times. Multiply back 9 times 12, 108. Subtract, and the 8 will be the remainder. The remainder always has to be less than the divisor, or else you did not go enough times. So we have remainder 8. It is necessary to fill in that 0 when it would not divide. So when you hit a step like that, just make sure you put 0, and then otherwise the steps are like normal. Let's go ahead and do one more check. So we're going to multiply this whole number part of our quotient 209 times our divisor, and at the end we'll add back the remainder. So 2 times 9 is 18. We have put the 8, carry the 1. 2 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is the 1. 2 times 2 is 4. And then you're going to switch to the next place. It will go times every number on top. So 1 times 9, remember you have to move in the same amount of spaces here. 1 times 9 is 9. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 2 is 2. Then we add 8. 10, so we're carrying. 4 plus 1 is 5. And 2. And now we have to add back our remainder of 8. So we'll add our 8. 8 plus 8 is 16, so we're going to have to carry. 1 plus 0 is 1. 5, 2. We did get back to our dividend.